The music began. The first notes pulled everyone's bodies into motion almost instantly. Instinct. Routine. Hiro followed. His footing was steadier than yesterday. His breathing a little more controlled. He paid attention to everything. His voice, his movements. That precise moment where everything could slip out of sync. But before long, he felt it again. Not a clear mistake or a missed step. Just the feeling that he was always half a beat behind something. Beside him, someone's breathing hitched for an instant. Farther down the line, another trainee pushed too hard on a note. Nothing unusual, nothing disastrous. And yet, Hiro noticed something. A contrast that hadn't been there yesterday. Almost without thinking, he turned his head. Kai. There was nothing flashy about him. His movements weren't bigger. His voice wasn't louder, but there was no interruption. No moment where he had to catch himself, where he compensated. Everything flowed, as though his body already knew what was coming next. Hiro felt his own breathing catch ever so slightly during a transition, barely a fraction of a second. He adjusted, kept going, but he had felt it. Kai crossed briefly through his field of vision during a formation change. Without looking at him or slowing down, that alone was enough. Not to impress him, to unsettle him. Because the difference wasn't visible effort. It was the absence of effort. The music carried on. No one stopped, and no one felt completely comfortable anymore. When the final note faded away, silence settled over the room. No comments or exaggerated sighs, only people trying to steady their breathing. Hiro leaned forward slightly, his hands resting on his thighs. His heart was still beating a little too fast. He lifted his head, and Kai was already stepping away from the line, as though none of it had mattered and he hadn't just proven anything. Maybe that was the worst part. A quiet breath passed through the room. Then someone murmured,
"Did you see that?"
Another voice answered without looking up.
Yeah.
A brief silence.
He wasn't even trying.
Someone let out a short laugh. There wasn't any humor in it.
That's annoying.
No one disagreed. Hiro remained still. He replayed the entire sequence in his mind. Every detail, every adjustment, every moment where he had needed to think. While the other one hadn't. His fingers curled slightly enough to feel something. Beside him, Dong-yun let out a slow breath, rubbing the back of his neck.
It looks like he's doing less.
He paused, searching for the right words.
But that's not it.
Hiro turned toward him. Dong-yun gave a tired little smile.
It's clean. Too clean.
Silence settled between them. Then, more quietly,
It's frustrating.
Hiro looked at him for a second, then gave a small nod, without saying anything, because he understood. And for the first time, this wasn't just curiosity anymore. It was a direction, something tangible. And even though he still didn't know how, he already knew. He couldn't stay exactly the way he was. The music faded out completely. This time, no one moved right away. Their breathing still filled the room, a little too loud now that the silence had returned. Some trainees slowly straightened up. Others stayed bent over, hands braced against their knees, needing a few extra seconds before they could stand again. Hiroshi took a deep breath, trying to steady the rhythm pounding in his chest. He could still feel that transition, the one he'd barely managed to recover at the last second. That exact moment when everything had almost slipped away. Beside him, nothing had slipped at all. He slowly lifted his head. Kai was still standing there, not out of breath, not frozen either, just steady. The coach scanned the room without saying anything, as though he were waiting for something. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Kai took a single step forward, not enough to command attention, just enough to be heard.
You're not bad.
His voice wasn't especially loud, yet it naturally cut through everything else. No one answered. He paused briefly, his gaze moving across the group without settling on anyone in particular.
But every one of you breathes at the wrong time.
A few shoulders straightened. Someone lowered their eyes. Hiro felt something catch. Kai continued in the same calm tone without emphasizing a single word.
You're focused on finishing the movement. So you hold your breath before it.
Silence. Heavier now. As though everyone was replaying the exact same moment in their head.
If you place your breath first,
He made a small gesture with one hand, almost absent-mindedly.
everything else follows.
There was nothing spectacular about it. Nothing flashy. And yet, it made perfect sense. A quiet breath rippled through the group. No objections or exaggerated reactions. Just the strange feeling that they had all overlooked something obvious. Kai gave the slightest shrug,
You can fix that.
and that was it. No further explanation, as though that alone was enough. The silence that followed wasn't the same as before. It wasn't as tense, but more focused. Someone let out a quiet,
Oh,
Another trainee smiled faintly, almost despite himself. Hiro remained still. The words kept turning over in his mind, not because they were complicated, because they were simple and he'd never seen them before. He replayed every run, every moment he'd unconsciously held his breath, every transition where he'd forced the movement instead of letting it flow. His fingers curled gently into his palm. This wasn't out of reach. It was worse than that because it was attainable. He looked up. Kai was already picking up his bag, as though the moment didn't need to last any longer, as though everything that mattered had already been said. One of the trainees hurried after him.
Young, that was...
Kai turned his head slightly, not annoyed or distant.
Work on your breathing first.
Simple. The trainee nodded almost immediately. Nothing more needed to be said. Kai walked past them without stopping. The door opened, then quietly closed behind him. The room remained silent for another second. Then the trainees began moving again, more slowly and deliberately. Hiro didn't move right away. He stayed where he was, his eyes fixed ahead. In the end, it hadn't been a mystery. Everything felt more clear, and for the first time, he knew exactly where to begin.